Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome
Okay,
to
now you
our
feel me.
yeah. After lots of
Now I
technical
hear you.
issues, yeah, you sound. I'm sorry, but yeah, man, I'm kind of gay for your voice, man. Anyways, uh,
Whatever.
so yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to our it's called innovative and Lunace podcast. We will interviewing a lot. So is that well? First of all, first question. Could you introduce yourself to the audience, please?
I will introduce. So I usually call myself artelord. Well, in that way. And it has nothing to do, originally it had nothing to do with artels. It's simply just arty and lord. And, what? Well, I can introduce myself as a Russian, that is anti-war, anti-Putin, and all that stuff, like that. And quarters, I suddenly found myself in the lib left corner, closer to that.
I said.
Unintentionally, I can say. Anything else?
Let's just get to interview. First question. When do you think will the Russo-Ukrainian war end as a Russian result?
Well, first of all, the most likely result is that Russia won't be able to win in any way. But Ukraine can't really, defeat Russia. How can that be? What can Ukraine actually do is push Russia out of the territory, but Russia will continue to march forward because it is controlled by Putin, by oligarchs, and by military elites. Those military elites have no reason to declare that they lost, that basically just admiring that they failed and they can be normal elites. So most likely in 10 more years or so, it will, all conflicts will slowly become less and less active until basically just a trench war on previous borders. And it becomes the war officially won't end, but there won't be anything, and will de facto end, I think, within the next 10 years. If nothing really unexpected happens. We're already moving towards trench warfare, more like in the First World War, when you can't really push your enemy into any side. You just take positions, and that's it. And then artillery throws at each other, drones can still fly. Yeah, I say about 10 more years. Maybe less, actually. Maybe less.
So in the next 10 years, I see. So I'm sorry to say this, but because of your accent, I could not really understand what you say since I was my brain was confused. But I kind of get the outline you're saying with some kind of, let's say, pushing back and forth, right?
Yeah, it basically will be just nobody actually winning. Ukraine wins simply because it keeps its previous positions, its previous borders. Because Russia attacked. Russia is a much bigger enemy. Country, a much bigger country that's unable to push its little neighbor in any way. That's why de facto was losing for Russia. But, well, kind of.
Second of all, what kind of future do you envision for Russia?
I think that Russia is already heading towards a crisis, in the sense that we have our economy is not growing at all. It's actually very slowly going down. Putin will eventually die, and there is no here for him. And I don't really think that The elites will be very good at coordinating with each other. Like we don't have a truly united government. They have so-called towers of Kremlin, basically like oligarch clans and families. They might be scared of each other. They might start infighting. This is why I actually think that civil organizing is very important. And what I hope to see is more non-governmental civil organizations. Maybe a caucus will flow away, will become separated. That will be actually simpler for us afterwards. And the rest, I really hope for regional communities, and basically people making their own organizations independent from the government to solve their own needs, like distribution, production, maybe even security. And that will be a very good ground for a new better system. And maybe regional organizations will be able to later organize between each other in order to create like a new federation or something like that. It's very unclear, there's a lot of uncertainty, but I think this is the closest to the most possible future for us. And the one that I actually see that good enough, I see. Because the worst scenario is just getting something like a civil war or a military coup after Putin's death, of course. The best scenario will be making local and civil organizations, non-governmental, even before Putin dies. And then just making it so the government can't do anything. The current state just can't do anything. Like stop the police and everything else. And that's basically just can't do anything.
That's very detailed, to say the least. That's extraordinary detail. I'd say that you really plan off. But then here's comes the question of practice. How will you bring about such society to existence in Russia?
Sorry, in distance? What? I'm not sure that I heard correctly.
I mean, how will you turn Russia into your, let's say, society, into the kind of society you envisioned?
Oh, how do I? I'd first start with seeds. No, actually, the current state is already having many issues, many like functions that cannot be that it cannot do properly, and it also adds problems. And then we basically just make organizations. Obviously, I alone can change the fate of the whole country, but if I and a whole bunch of other people come together, then we can make organizations and expand that based on people's needs that are not satisfied with the state. Like we already have and had, but I think we have still now different non-governmental or maybe even anti-government, can be sure, organizations that are against mobilization, that allow those citizens who do not want to be mobilized to escape the mobilization. the thing about a corrupted government is that it's very inefficient. So it does order, like we need a certain amount of people to send to the war, but the execution is done very poorly. Because of that, there are many loopholes, there are many ways to basically just ignore orders and law. And and like when you are just a single person against the whole state, that's hard to do. But when the whole civil organization, uh, they can help you, like guide how to escape mobilization. We had several of those, and then because there is real need for them, and people do use them, this allows to expand, and this allows to gain public support and popularity, because like we do what other people want. We satisfy people's needs. From there, we can go to like goods distribution in those areas where we have issues. Like in last year, we suddenly discovered that we have issues with cucumbers. They became very expensive. Like out of nowhere, maybe because of like the whole economic thing, maybe because of war, because of sanctions. So we need to solve that. And next, we can go to healthcare, because our healthcare is done very poorly, low quality, and how do I say it? Long queues. I mean, it's just hard to get to a doctor and for a doctor to actually heal you. Then to education, just more and more stuff that is done not by the state, but by regular citizens. More and more and more and more. And that's we just take more and more functions away from the state. This teaches people to not rely on the government and whatever they do, and rely on themselves and others like them instead. This will be basically just our foundation. From that, we can go to like actual education about how democracy actually functions, why in some cases it fails and turns into just another dictatorship, and what is needed to be done in order to keep it, like having several parties for which people vote, several competing parties, having diversity, like decentralization, and like one of Russia's mistake was making a basically super presidential republic, just way too many powers to one single person, and people were very afraid of terrorism and stuff, and of being unable to keep order, because in 90s we had a lot of criminals, a lot of outlaw, and basically what Putin state did is that they allowed our citizens to live in peace, because it removed, arrested all bandits and criminals. And then we learned that, the Leviathan that was supposed to prevent chaos is now even worse than asset chaos. We'll have to like more tell people about the third like angle, where it's neither a bandit chaos nor too much power of the state. Then also
Oh, so interesting. That's very detailed. So, another question is that what do you think about the monarchist restoration of the Tsar and the Soviet restoration of, like, Marxist Leninist Stalinist something. What do you think about this true restorationist that I think is gaining more prominent in Russia?
So monarchist, Marxist-Leninist, well, it really depends on the specific implementation, because like the whole so-called ideologies, but in a set monarchy, for example, if we make it constitutional, then it's de facto just democracy, but with fancy guy on a throne. It always depends on who actually makes decisions. If we have a monarch, but most of decisions are made by the parliament, and the parliament is an actual functional democracy, then it's a good thing. If we have, like in the Russian Empire, the Russian Empire collapsed because absolutist monarchy has its own like issues. After all, it's one guy, and you have no guarantee that this guy is even good at his job. We have no actual idea. Like the last emperor of Russia basically just screwed over. He started a war, was unable to finish it, and screwed over all of his workers, like allowed to fire them easily. I started the revolution. We cannot repeat it. It would basically mean just another fall in a few more years. Marxist-Lenin is de facto just a party dictatorship, and a party dictatorship, very centralized, turns into a regular autocracy, just a one-man dictatorship, like the chairman of a party abuses powers that are given in order to fight other factions, which is justified according to most of ideologies like Marxism-Leninism, who do not like other factions, and because of that do not allow pluralism. That faction fighting allows to arrest everyone who goes against you, keep on those who like you, and in the end we have one guy that's in full control of everything. This happened to Maoist, this happened to Marxist-Leninist under Stalin, this happened to Nazi Germany, and most of other examples when it was party hierarchy from top to down, like top-down hierarchy, which means that every member is forced to obey the boss, and may have no right like to say or do otherwise. I, on the contrary, promote the like bottom-up hierarchy, which basically just means that we have a community, a group of people, and then all of our hierarchy it's not forcing anything to do. It's actually just a form of organization. And every post requires accountability. Marxist-Leninists lack accountability, monarchists lack accountability, many others lack accountability as well. It is important because it is what actually makes the one who is in power, the one who is writing down plans and making decisions, to write plans and make decisions in the interests of the whole system, or people, usually those who they are accountable to, not just in their own interest. Stalin mostly made in his own interest decisions, even if those are ideological reasons, or what he believed was better for others, but de facto was just following his own worldview. If we give power to anyone, we make them responsible. If we give power to anyone, we then impeach them the moment they stop following our interests. We must make it so it is in their interest to follow our interests. Any hierarchy must be bottom up for this kind of functioning. And this kind of determines a lot of my relationships. I don't like MLs and some of MLMs because of that. I don't like absolute monarchists because the monarchy is not accountable. How do we make sure that he's good at his job, and how do we make sure that he does what's actually good for us, not for him? Like, we already had France where the queen just said, if you don't have bread, eat cupcakes. Or pancakes or something like that, which basically just means that she does not care about peasants at all. And so, and there's even about the most of the authoritarian, most of authoritarian ideologies.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that.
Oh, that's a very long reply. Well, I guess another question is, what do you think of Alexander Dugin? I mean, you made an article about him on Substack. I was like, man, like the Stalinism of my younger brother. Anyways, my younger brother is here with me. So what do you think about like the crazy double plus restorationism of like the Soviet Tsars? Like, what do you think about them?
Sorry, I'm not sure I heard everything correctly. Uh, can you repeat the last two things more clearly?
Huh? I mean,
Uh, like restoration mechanisms, or what was it?
I mean, what do you think about Alexander Dugin, the
Ah,
fourth theory guy?
oh, Dugin, yes, of course, of course. Okay, now I understand, yes. Well, sometimes think that he's a bit, I don't know, weird. Like, like, I understand that how he possibly could have gotten to those conclusions he has, but I can't agree because, like, based on what does he make it? Like, his hate of liberalism and individualism is not really based. Like, there are problems in individualism and liberalism. Yes, they are flawed. They have problems. Sometimes he even correctly identifies what's wrong. He just doesn't correctly guess what's right. Like he tries to do spiritualism, but like, and he claims to be anti-totalitarian, but de facto, in the way how he proposes everything to do, because he is against any form of pluralism, and he basically just wants one single ideology um, that everyone is forced to follow, that will be totalitarian. It doesn't matter if he likes it or not. The system he tries to build has literally no mechanisms, no defenses against becoming just another one-man dictatorship. Just another, like, it can be like a party leader, a chairman, like a council main member, and there is no accountability again. And his thoughts on individualism. I remember his quote, something like, "Never before, people were so like each other." I cannot agree. I like to let I have to react. In the past, people were even more diverse because there are many different communities. Like our world has become more international than it was before. Yes, and because of that, there's more similarity between nations. But within each other nation, the diversity has became greater. And by doing what he wants to do, by doing a singular worldview, it actually makes less diverse. Less diverse. He accuses liberalism of creating androids from humans. Now I think that he's actually the one who would create androids with his fourth political theory. I also don't think that the actually has a lot of chances to succeed in Russia because most of his ideas do not solve our problems, like regular citizens' problems. I propose to solve them in some ways. I propose to, I offer methods to solve corruption, to change our economy so it becomes better and have less price and job issues. Not in the sense that we'll have more jobs, but in the sense that jobs themselves will be better. I think that if we solve corruption and change governance model, our healthcare and education will be better. He doesn't solve any of that. Instead, he fights liberalism that's not present in our country. Our country is not liberal. Why does he fight the far west? That's not here.
Yeah. That really covers a lot. Thank you for having things clear because in most other episodes it was I'm short kind of brief. I mean they're kind of long, but yours the I have asked four questions that I would probably make a 4 episode. Anyways, if you have that if let's say Putin and his Kremlin elders were gone and had to make a speech in front of all Russian people, like the whole country, what would you say?
Hmm. What would I say to all Russians? I would probably start my speech with basically mm, pointing at things that our people are already suffering from. Education, healthcare, corruption, mobilization, and everything else. The thing is, people do like technically see this with their own eyes. Because of that, I'm not just creating an experience for them. I'm not just advertising anything. I'm advocating for their experience, and I say our country is corrupted, and you know that we have terrible healthcare, terrible quality. We have history textbooks rewritten in schools for no actual reasons. We have money spent on oligarchs, yachts, instead of actual people's needs. We have the state mobilizing our own people, mobilizing our brothers and fathers and sons. Do we want that? Very few want that. The majority of people don't like that. And yet, many, including the current state and the colonies, the state's media, don't put any focus on that or say that this is just because of the evil West that's doing rainbows. Our people, many of our people already know, already spread memes about our government being not smart at all, kind of silly and corrupted. And from that, I would say that we cannot rely on the state. We cannot rely on some kind of miracle happening. I guess wise people hope for a miracle. Fools expect a miracle to happen. we cannot expect America to happen. What if that it doesn't? We have to take everything in our own hands, in our own means, to make it so things are better for us, not for some people, for us, citizens, everyday men, grassroots, actual Russians. Russia is not a state. Russia is the people. Russia is the community. I would heavily focus on that. Russia is not evil. Russia is a good country, but the state we got, the dictatorship we allowed to build while we are basically sleeping, is actually going against us. It's not our defender. It's the reason of why we live the way we live, of why we have poor medicine, of why prices are rising over and over again, way more than our wages are, of why I and everyone else has to use VPN, because Roskomnadzor, like nobody likes Roskomnadzor. And that's the state's thing. The state, Putin allows Roskomnadzor to randomly block everything. It's so foolish that it even sometimes accidentally blocks itself. Putin allows that to happen. I wouldn't even focus on Putin, who actually he's quite old. He already ruled longer than Brezhnev. He's now going to rule almost as long as Stalin did. But everyone under it is not good for sure. And Putin will not solve it. We cannot just open our president's eyes. Some believe that they can. Some send letters to him. Some say that Putin is good, oligarchs are bad. But that doesn't really matter. Because even if the president can still do anything, they won't. Because their closest circle, the people they trust, are the said ministers and oligarchs, oligarchs, and he watches only state media. Everything that goes to him is filtered. And he already has an information bubble, his own worldview. Even if something reaches him, something that breaks his worldview, he will ignore that. That's how human psychology works. It always attempts to preserve the current worldview. The current way how he sees. So his world doesn't suddenly get broken. He won't fix it. We, the people, are the only ones who can fix it. Without relying on the state, building our own organizations. It's not even about obedience, it's about following our own needs, doing what we need to do. And if the state goes against that, well, then we can say that they attacked first. And everything else will be in that direction. Besides, even though I'm technically progressive because I'm culturally progressive because of the harm principle, I actually think that Russia is still more a bit conservative or non-caring, and if I attack anything else besides the state and oligarchies, that will be hurt me more. It's better to instead mobilize on the principle of solving our problems, because we are the only ones who can solve this problem, who can solve these problems. The state won't, the West won't, and the president won't. We must do that. It doesn't matter if you're religious or if you're not, if you're communist or if you're capitalist, doesn't matter. We all have the same life. We have many things we share, and that's what our actions should be based on. Yeah, I think that's enough.
Uh-huh. And my other question is, well, is that I see that you lean like libertarian life, and I have a question. Do you lean more on like that? I mean, in my life, I have met like three, exactly three kinds of left libertarians. The first is in the talk about the left liberal kind, but like progressive taxation, robust welfare, civil liberty, like much heavy economic regulation, like ideology shopping, like myself in the past, and the second type is the them like Kano and like other people like a libertarian Marxist, the communist, the autonomist, the postmodernists that are like the postmodernist the theory that's more clear like Agamben, Foucault, Deleuze, Guattari, etc. etc. And the second kind like is my favorite. I was like I mean the second kind of it and like the first kind is like everyone's baby level. Like the third kind, the rare one is probably myself. It's myself is that like actually like the how like people like the left how they mix the left libertarian, for example the Georges, agorist, mutualist, the the like the left wing market anarchist. I mean, which which camp do you fall to? Like amongst these three camps of like left libertarianism, which one do you fall in?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not. I sometimes have to like wander in between and account all of them. My latest thoughts, I was comparing like socialism, which would probably mean like libertarian market socialism in England or market anarchism. And the other option I thought about is the so-called participatory economics. Participatory economics is actually, planned, but in a completely different way, I think, from what there was in the Soviet Union, because it's bottom up, because it's actual democratic plan. And this will change a lot. This will change motivation of people because people will see that there are free riders, that there are those who are not efficient, and then they will create some form of mechanisms, maybe like social sanctions on individuals in order to stimulate people like to not be free riders and to work more efficiently. So I am leaning towards participatory economics at the moment. I still think that Marxism is a good threat, although it has to be done right. Because USSR, for example, while it was better than in the Soviet Union, it had still problems, mainly because it had cooperatives, but the state would just give infinite loans to cooperatives and never allow any of them to suffer consequences of their own decisions. No one was actually responsible. We need responsibility. Okay, let's on the economic issue. Of course, I'm not going to any Chopin style. I want to. I don't really care about ideologies, labels, and names. I always focus on systems. Like a system engineer, I see politics less of less like a battlefield, more like a playground. No, not real playground, the ground for experimenting and studying. My idea is to make a unified system. I usually think that economics and politics would be made somewhat similar to each other, like both democratic, democratic in the economy for workplace democracy, and democratic in politics, and some technocratic elements in both. I actually left libertarianism is usually has a stereotype of being like weak persons that are like really progressive and anarchist and like chaotic. I'm not into any of that. I basically just stepped into that, I can say accidentally, for a completely different reason than all these stereotypes. I usually was in the center of the compass. Then as I studied further, I came to a conclusion that the economy would function better if it was not just capitalist, but market socialist. And from market socialism, I went to participatory economics. So that's just more than me left wing. And also I think about some post-statist structure, not necessarily anarchist, but I talked previously about civil organizations or stuff like that. I'm pluralist, I'm anti-authoritarian, which makes me down libertarian, and uniting these two movements I had, I find myself in the libertarian left part of the compass. And then might turn out that some other people also had something similar, and then I fall into their group. I didn't follow anyone. I kind of arrived there on my own, like that.
Okay, interesting. And then my other question is that what? I'm sorry, this getting this get personal. Are you okay with? I'm asking about your job. Like, what do you do in the media industry? What kind of job do you do?
My job?
Yeah.
You're asking about? Well, I can say that I am helping my father. So basically, I'm co-working with him, as a junior. He is a copywriter and a journalist who is writing for a website about cars, about technological news, about environmental, ecological news, and many other things as well. I am helping to write text. So some of posts that are published under his name were actually written by me, and more posts, more income. So I can see that that's kind of my job, and writing about many non-political things. And another thing that I do in the meantime is that I actually want to be I want to work in the game industry. I can't yet because I need experience, I need skills. I want to work in the game industries. I want to make games.
Game?
Either as a programmer,
Oh.
games. Video games. I can be a programmer, programmist. I can make visuals because I'm drawing quite a lot. I also make a lot of pixel art. I'm currently working on a game in Unity. Like Unity is very popular. There are many actual games, video games that are made on Unity, including popular ones. And if I study it deep enough, then I also will be able to work on any other game engine as well, like Unreal Engine, uh, because I know everything that they have in common. So I divide my time between helping my father at his job, this earns money by writing articles about, well, mostly about science or technologies or machines, like computers, cars, everything else. And the other part of time, I am working on Unity. I'm basically just learning by myself how to make games.
So
That's my thing.
I I am here to tell you one thing is that because you work like a ministry, like I question, are you like do you know and like at least like barely know some kind of like Russian celebrities?
I
Do you work with like
like I know about some Russian celebrities because of the media, because of news. I'm not fond of any of them. Like I watched. I, I don't think that Navalny can be called a celebrity, but among actual current, I don't know, singers, artists, I don't watch them. I don't listen to them. I just know that they exist, that they are known for certain things. Uh, the only exceptions when I listen to any of them is the New Year Eve. Now, this is where I just visit my grandma and like the TV is on, and that's it. I know about them. I don't watch them. It's kind of about all Russian celebrities.
I'll just send you a direct message. This is like I have like an unfinished analysis of like the entertainment industry. Anyways, do you work like I mean you're in the media, so like do you know the like entertainment industry a lot?
How much do I know?
Also, just check DM, check DM.
I mean, I'm looking at it. Industrialism. Well, first of all, I want to point out that industrialism, if we are talking about product creating industries, well, they do change slowly or fastly. They will stay with us, and I'm not even sure if they get smaller. We just have even more things, like the whole internet added on top of it. So we have, for example, streamers, YouTubers and Twitch streamers, which make money, but by just making videos and entertaining. So I see like some of the reasons it is correct in some parts.
me, and I well um last question. What do you think about me? What do you think of me?
Uh, what do I think? I'd say, I don't know, a nice guy. Because based on what do I choose words? For this, or do I give any traits? I've already encountered several times that I see one thing and I'm completely sure about it, about other people, and then it turns out that they have something different from what I've seen. So I usually prefer to not put any labels, like put the minimal amount of labels that I can be on myself and on others. Uh, I still remember like our first contact on Pokemon Anarchy, and I am surprised by how it developed from that. I mean, we both changed since that. Our relationship changed. Uh, and in what way, I'm somewhat surprised. Like, I am not fully sure why you like me, why you trust me that much. Like, yes, we have a lot of similarities. I find many of things like you find as based. Um, yeah, quite a lot of things. Like we are both researchers, those who experiment, and we have somewhat similar observations. Sometimes you get different observations, and I have to agree with them. But how much can just having similar ideologies input into personal relationships? I can say that if we focus on the ideological and theoretical matter, I see myself as just like I think that we through different paths came to somewhat similar conclusions. Or again, I am leaning or from market socialism to participatory economics. You follow focused on like mutualism thing and like that, like keeping markets. I still say that that's good because I don't know if I am entirely if I'm actually more correct than you are, if I am actually more right. I have to stay pluralist here to say that I might be wrong and you might be right, or reverse. I don't know. I'm just a bit more serious, maybe.
Okay. Um. So. So. I what in your like society to contact your machine left will private property, commodity production, and the state, the monopoly on violence will be abolished in like your ideal society.
Will it be abolished?
Private property
Uh,
and the and the state.
I think that the private property is not evil, like Marxists say yes, but it is less efficient. And I put focus on like private companies and corporations being non-efficient because I basically just saying how autocracies just within markets. They are again top bottom, I mean top down hierarchies. I've seen a lot of examples where they were not efficient. If we make correct cooperatives, uh, like if we make cooperatives that actually sustain themselves, they will be more efficient, better at doing their jobs, and this again fits my idea of having organizations for organizing, like a system is not to rule over you, but to organize people so that we have cooperation, so that people do what's beneficial for everyone in the end. And in that case, yes, we won't have any private property in my ideal system. I think that even small businesses can be made on the basis of cooperation, not like one-man ownership of everything. As for the state, it doesn't have to be fully abolished. I want to put more functions away from it, like make state closer to people. My ideal system is kind of, if not fully anarchist, then post-statist. Again, instead of having somebody, some king, some parliament rule over us, the state is a system for organizing in a way that's beneficial for everyone.
บอกว่าเออเสร็จแล้วแหละ okay I think that this like this is gone. Yeah, my younger brother's like calling cat. No, you think so? It's just he's like the cutest thing in the world. What do you think?
Yeah, sorry, the honest or what was that word?
Um,
Mm.
I say that it's like it's almost like 4 p.m. now. We should like close, and I will like upload this on YouTube. Yeah. Let's
Mhm.
you're gonna say something to like to end the podcast. Go ahead.
Oh, you know what? I think that I'll give a lesson. No, not necessarily a lesson. Maybe a thought I came to by myself. The internet is not for. Well, it's not the best place to try to convince everyone that something is right with a specific phrase. You don't need to prove anyone, everyone you see, that, anyone you read, that you're right. Politics is better, at least according to my view, if it's not a battlefield, if it's a field for exploration, for system design, for finding flaws and debugging, flaws like in programming, but here in human systems and social systems, in experimenting, in theorizing. The internet would have been better if it was pluralist and, cooperative. We don't have to prove everyone that we're right. It's better if we spend our time researching, so that, like, in case we are not right, and to be better at designing systems and at researching. I think that this can be a very important thought because it would save you a lot of time to, you know, think about yourself. Yeah, just a little bit of rational, long-term egoism.
Now the podcast shall end. See you guys in like probably like it's up to me really. I've been like busy starting lately, and I've been like having like I'm a now game developer. Um, Game developer first, animator. I'll do some animation and post the channel soon. So I have been doing some like and I'm
Mm-hmm.
studying biology and social studies. I'm going to read philosophy, like more like a lot, and I
Mm-hmm.
will also play guitar and piano, which I plan to like post like my skills. Like I know it sucks, but I'll just like show my progress soon. So when like my dear beloved viewer, our power sociology line, I just say we will see each other soon. And like for us a lot, I think that I anyway. So um my I for to end the stream with grace and goodness, I'm gonna say that you are amongst the wisest, the let's say like the most intelligent man I've ever seen. Even though like my criticism of you, like you haven't really read any actual philosophy in ever since you into Pokemon Box, you should, yeah, you know like the dramas and thing. Whatever to say, you that well stay the same. You're a very intelligent, you're like very creative. The only thing you need to is is to like read more. That's what I like. What's that? I was saying to most people, and let's say thank you for coming. And okay, I'm sorry, I forgot
Mm-hmm.
like about it. Like, I have another question. What do you think about the drama with like the Kustro and Miso? Who do you side with?
Oh, these people. I'm not enemies with Mizo. I like. I don't agree with any of his political. He doesn't matter with any
No, no,
political
no.
views.
I mean in the drama. I
I
mean
think the
not
ideology
the
was.
political view, but like the conflict between like the Primviki and the whole combo anarchy and the Kustro after his cooked and
Oh, this I, yeah, I kind of feel like in the middle of the Cold War, like we have the giant West. That's somewhat good, but also like Kos has banned me from, has kicked me from the affiliation of
why?
Pokemon liberal stuff, saying that I am a spy. Me, though, on the other hand, when I joined their server, I got kicked by Discord itself because the server itself was accused by Discord of like terrorism and stuff, and I cannot join them. I cannot join the East, the Mississippi East, and I doubt that I really want to like. I'm not sure that I can even join the West. I have to form the third angle, so that it becomes a triangle, and then we have the Cold War again, and I'm like in I'm like Yugoslavia maybe. I'm leaning closer to Kos actually, like goes I mean to anarchy to more than to pro-wiki, but can't fully side with them.
So you're a pro Miso.
I mean, as the website, I prefer. Uh, I see that I'm on Pokemon and Himanian because it's like more active. Pre-wiki is not. active anymore. The Mesos wiki is barely anything
I
happens.
see.
But when it comes to moderators and administrators of different websites fighting each other, I have no reason to side with any of them.
Okay. Now let's end the podcast. So goodbye, guys. See you. It will take.
Okay, goodbye.
And also, your voice is very hot, good.